Hello, welcome to episode 8 of Heroes for Sale. We're in the middle of August and summer blockbuster season, so later on we're going to be reviewing Fantastic Four, or Fantastic Four as some people have been calling it. But first of all, we're joined by the organisers of Liverpool Horror Fest in the studio here. We've got Ilan and Ricky, and we're excited it's coming up this Saturday. Obviously, we talked about it last episode, didn't we? Talked about a little bit about some of the amazing things we've got, including Ramsey Campbell,
yes,
really decorated horror author, the most decorated horror author, and Liverpool lad.
Yes, yeah, it's from Liverpool.
Great. And also we've got the fantastic Barbie Wilde.
Yes, Hellraiser femme fatale.
Yeah. But if that wasn't enough to bring you in to the Kazimier for the Liverpool Horror Festival this weekend, we've also got things like the Horror Talk Big Fact Scary Quiz, a cosplay competition.
Yeah.
This is all during the day.
Yeah, this is
stalls and everything. But we didn't talk about the nighttime event, which is another festival in itself, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Can you tell us a bit about what's happening there? We've got bands and so on.
Yeah, well, as soon as 6 o'clock hits, everyone under 18 is going to be asked, politely to leave as we set up for
an age over 18.
Yes, if they can prove their birth date changes over that 10-minute, 20-minute kind of period. Yeah. But then it turns into a more laid-back kind of horror experience with kind of like artists and musicians and poets and bands. And for our bands, we've got headlining act Zombie and the Skeletons, which is a huge Liverpool band with a huge following. Yeah,
they've been going for quite some time, and they can pack an audience in, I'm sure.
Yeah. And then there's Tommy Creep, who's an extremely unique experience because he actually plays music through Game Boys. So he's got 8-bit horror kind of music tracks, which is definitely something to see.
So in what way is it like horror music? Is it like horror soundtrack music that he's transposed?
Ghouls and Ghosts.
Of course, yes.
Then you know that kind of music kind of thing. And
right.
Yeah, some of his tracks.
So is it like inspired, or is it straight covers of songs?
You put me on the spot here.
This is the guy I really want to see on the night. He sounds amazing, this guy. This is why I'm down here. That's why I'm down here.
Chris Zombie King, who kind of like arranged the evening kind of thing, he's like, when he first approached me and says, we've got Tommy Creep, I was like, what are you talking about? And when he explained it to me, I was like, I still don't know what you're talking about. And when he played it, honestly, it's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
So if you don't know what he's going to be like, then you're going to have a heck of a night.
Sounds.
Well, of course, Ricky, you're from Dick Limerick Apocalypse, aren't you? One of the members.
Yes, yeah. Dick Limerick
Proud
Apocalypse.
members of the Dick Limerick Apocalypse.
The pride is ebbing away with every passing day. It's all right. It's acceptable to be part of a hip-hop group in your teens and early 20s. I'm 31 years old now. I'm someone's dad. So it's the pride is all but gone, but I'm still here.
The material about what you're rapping about has obviously changed.
No, because it all used to be like, rapping about people's mums and that type of thing. And now I still do that, but like I know the mums personally because
Isn't that
that's what the music career gets you.
Yeah, isn't that part of the rap battle?
Yes, unfortunately it is, but I'm not proud of that. Dick Limerick Apocalypse is a single horror project that we did. We normally go by the name Dick Limerick Academy, which is fronted by me and O'Shea, who is the former UK rap battle champion and is the one out of the two of us that people have heard of. And I'm the one out of the two of us that people have the phone number for and can get in touch with. So I tend to be I handle all the admin. And we put together a horror EP called Valley of the Demon for a film that's coming out very soon called Valley of the Demon. And it's all inspired by horror films. And by that, I mean, we stole all of the samples from horror films.
Yeah, and it's brilliant tracked as well because it's like a lot from the Fulci movies because there's City of the Living Dead. And I recognise those tracks like, oh my God, I used that. So straight away, kind of like get them down into the festival.
It's basically like a twist on the Wu-Tang where you haven't sampled Kung Fu movies, you're British and you've sampled horror film.
Exactly that. And anyone who's a fan of Zombina and the Skeletons as well, Doc Horror, who is one of the main people in Zombina, he is our producer. He raps on a couple of the tracks, and this is very much his baby. He's been pushing us to make a horror music project for a while, and we thought we'd wait until everyone was sick to death of zombies, and then right on the tail end of when nobody wants to hear anything else, we'll just get an EP in on the end of that.
Yeah. Comes with a new meaning of biting somebody else's style in a hip-hop.
We didn't even use that.
Oh, come on.
We're going to have to digitally remaster the whole thing now.
Yeah. Brilliant. So what time are you on the night, and what time does the nighttime proclivities begin?
Well, it starts around 7:30, 8 o'clock till midnight. And then obviously in between the bands, there's going to be there's going to be kind of horror poets, and there's going to be like blockheads kind of hammering nails into their faces. Brilliant. So basically anyone who loves kind of like, you know, doing things that shock or in the horror kind of like genre would be brilliant. But obviously you'll see a lot of Ricky as well, because he's
up until I see someone hammer a nail into their face, and then I think I might throw a massive whitey. I'm actually very queasy. It doesn't come up much in my music, but it's true that I'm a queasy person. So it's a lady.
Yes,
who
very
hammers.
lovely lady called Jinx.
Does that make it better or worse that she's lovely to you?
I don't know. It's mixed feelings, but kind of like find out, you know, until I've experienced it in person.
So add sick bags to the rider, basically, is what we're saying.
Yeah, this is definitely a unique experience, and kind of these are all people that we sourced from Liverpool. So these are all people that kind of that as soon as we said we've got a horror festival in Liverpool coming up, they swarmed in and said, "Oh, I'd love to do something." So.
Yeah, great, thank you very much. Unfortunately, we're running out of time, and now we've got to go to a videotape of the Batmobile, the 66 Batmobile that our producer Neil went out to capture in New Brighton, and hopefully we're going to find out where Batman kept his stash box for when Commissioner Jim Gordon started sniffing around. So let's go to that VT now.
See you at the Horror Fest.
It's a Lincoln Continental chassis, sourced in America. It's got a V8 engine in it, all been done up by Eldbrock, so it's quite a powerful engine. It does between 4 and 6 to the gallon, so not very economical. Sourced chassis and engine, sent to the company in America and built out there and imported over here about 20 odd years ago.
How are you? Have you seen my car?
Yeah.
Good, isn't it? It goes really fast. Well, remember, be good and fight crime.
Okay.
So, Batman, this recent crime spree in New Brighton, you think the Joker's to blame?
Of course. We both think the Joker is to blame. Yes. The Riddler, he is still at large and Penguin is in jail, but Commissioner Gordon has given us sure intelligence that the Joker is behind it.
George Barris or Lincoln built a concept car, Futura, and they made about 9 of them, something like that, and ended the project. According to the story that I've heard, George Barris bought one for $1 off of them, stuck it in his garage. He was later asked to build a Batmobile for the television series in the 60s. Couldn't come up with a design, saw the car, looked at it, and basically built the Batmobile from the Futura. So the basic design of the body on the Batmobile is a lot to do with the Futura, the canopy, the wings, the lights. So it's based on a concept car.
Don't tell Robin.
We only just met this morning.
Wherever the car goes, it's popular as hell. Everybody swarms all over it. It's like an Apache attack. People always smile when they see it. Even the youngsters now recognise it as a Batmobile as soon as they see the signs. So it's not necessarily the newer cars that they recognise. Even this one from so long ago is recognised. Dads, mums, and even the little tiny kids recognise it. So it gets a massive reaction wherever it goes. We do proms and weddings. We use it as groom's car. We take youngsters to their proms, and we do events like this. It's busy all through the summer, so big reaction.
How are you, Catwoman?
It was in Trafalgar Square with the owner, Mark Perkins, and I would say the most famous person that's ever sat in it was was in London doing a promotional gig, whatever he was doing there. Saw the car, asked Mark Perkins, "What are you doing with my car?" It was Adam West. It was Adam West. It was Adam West. It was Adam West. He sat in this, and we have got photos of him sitting in the car. The most amazing thing is Adam West still rings up asking how the car is, where it's going and what it's doing.
Remember, kids, say no to crime.
Welcome back to Heroes for Sale. It's the part of the show that we call Between the Panels, where we dive into the world of comics and movies. And this week we've had the Fantastic Four film, which has upset a lot of people. And I'm joined again by Ilan from the Liverpool Horror Festival, and also Lewis from the Matchstick Men. Before we get into everything that was bad about the Fantastic Four, we just wanted to mention that your band, the Matchstick Men, has got a new track out now.
Yeah, it's called Cheap Little Thrill. It's through Holier Than Thou Records. So far it's receiving good press, and we're quite excited about it. Got a new one coming out in September as well. So
yeah, I've heard it. It was really good. It's a nice
excellent
bluesy number.
Thank you.
And talking about where there should have been a nice bluesy number, I mean, the Fantastic Four film, I know you were really disappointed with it.
Yeah, obviously we want to talk about it a little bit, but I'd say in one word, I'd use the word terrible. It was awful. I really wanted to obviously walk out of it when I was watching it, but knew I was coming on here, so I kind of had to watch the whole film.
duty bound. Well, me too. I mean, just you talked about some of the continuity errors before, and there was a moment where Reed Richards is kind of like run away. Yeah. And he's got a little hideout in Peru, and he's managed to set himself up with all these computers, and he's also got like a little picture printed off of him and Ben Grimm from his childhood days. And I was like, where did he get that from? Has he gone to Asda somewhere and printed that off?
Well, that's the thing with their relationship. It was like 4 minutes sort of solid at the beginning. It's building up, you know, about him and Ben, and then it just kind of, by the middle of the film, it was just, they completely forgot about it until they got the picture, and at the end, it's like, oh yeah, remember that thing we built up? We need to kind of mention it again. I didn't like the whole thing with the powers as well. 1 year later, after they've got their powers, and then it comes back with 1 year later, and it's just a cop-out, really.
You saw the trailer and you were excited for it.
Yeah.
But you did have reservations.
I'm slowly kind of trying to revoke my original statement that I thought everyone was going to love The Thing, because I think last time I mentioned kind of like that they held back The Thing in a lot of the trailers because I was like really excited to see what he's going to look like on the screen.
Again, a big disappointment. He's naked as well, which is a big departure from Thing. I mean, even the Hulk manages to keep a pair of purple pants on him, doesn't he?
Exactly.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, well, that's the thing as well. It's just his whole character. There's like some good scenes from the trailer, which I thought that would be amazing. I wonder how they're going to sort of introduce that, why he's doing that. It's not even in the film. It's not even there, the stuff that's in the trailer. And, you know, for me, Doctor Doom was the biggest disappointment.
Yeah.
So what you thought yourself?
It's
like,
completely one-dimensional. I mean, that was the thing I was looking forward to about the movie. And obviously he gets sent to this other dimension, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And then he's left there. And you just think, when he comes into it, he's like, where have you been hanging out? And where did you get your cloak from?
Yeah, exactly. And the whole thing where is at the beginning of the film as well, he was driving a car and the car like fell apart, and then all of a sudden they're just like, come and build this quantum realm machine, you know.
Yeah. And he looked a bit like a young Dave Grohl as well, the actor, didn't he? Which is kind of a little bit of a good
But
thing.
the fact that you're criticising the film so much and dislike the film so much makes me actually interested in watching it more than I previously was, because I was kind of a bit kind of like, I'm not really that interested in watching another kind of like Fantastic Four film. But you hate it so much, and there's nothing redeemable about it whatsoever by the sounds of it. So I kind of want to see how bad this is.
That is the good thing
now
about
I'm
bad
interested.
Review. There was some good points to it at first. I liked the young Reed Richards and the idea of him being this childhood genius, and I thought that could have been developed, but they just completely kind of left that as... I mean, the worst thing about that was he was at this science fair. He developed this way to teleport like toy cars and little things to other dimensions, coming back with sand. And then how did this other guy, Dr. Storm, just turn up at a science fair and be like, I know, we need you to come and build this quantum mechanical operation as well.
Yeah, 'cause that's the thing. It's like they slagged off like people slagged off the Amazing Spider-Man. You know, they were going with that younger edge. Obviously now they've got with Marvel, they've gone even younger. But Spider-Man 2 compared to this is amazing. You know, it's like absolutely brilliant film compared to this. It was like I enjoyed it anyway, but you know, it was like Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man. I was sold on him, but then this, I went with low expectations and was just really disappointed. As I say, I would have left. Just like,
I think an interesting thing to bring up here is the difference between Fox Studios and Marvel. Because that's something that a lot of people haven't really got their heads around, especially my mum. Hello, mum. You know, she was like, "Oh, I don't understand how can Marvel have made such a bad movie." When I came home, going, "Oh my god!" And you know, they really have lit the side down on everything apart from kind of the X-Men, really.
yeah, it's not clear to everyone. Obviously, it's Marvel Studios that do the cinematic universe films, but you know, to someone who's not into that, they're not really going to pay attention to the word studios. It's just got the red and white Marvel sign is what all they see, and it's the same. You know, the same as Sony. That's what it was like with Spider-Man. People were like, well, hang on a second, that person does that one, but I don't understand why. Yeah, it's like maybe because this film might have gone so badly, maybe the rights might go back to Marvel, but. Have we seen the end for the Fantastic Four, to be honest? It's like, not strong enough characters, are they? It's just... And the other thing is with sort of Jamie Bell's voice over the Thing, there's this big, massive, you know, monstrous character.
Voiced by Billy Elliot.
Yeah, exactly.
Was there no kind of like audio treatment or anything on it? It was just the pure voice.
Yeah. No,
Wow.
the most gravelly thing about the film was the guy who was playing Dr. Storm. I mean, his voice was amazing. It was better than the guy who does the trailers, like coming soon, wasn't it? It really was.
Definitely.
But yeah, they've obviously had an attempt to make their own Marvel universe, Fox, and there's been some high points, but certainly some low points, and then they keep rebooting the films, which I think is probably upset a lot of people. Like you say with Spider-Man, I felt that particularly because I like the original films, and although Andrew Garfield's a talented actor, I just felt like that was unnecessary. And now, hopefully, though, they are starting to relent and see that they could hopefully work in partnership with Marvel and give Spider-Man back. And do you think that's something that's going to work?
Hopefully it does, because Marvel, you know, there might have been a couple of films where we've just gone, oh, that's not the best one of this, you know, the series. But but they've got so many films now, and you know, it's not saying it's a bad film. Even I didn't really like Age of Ultron, but at least with the character development, with you know, where I said before about 1 year later, at least with there was a film in between. You know, you understand why they work well as a team. It comes in, opening battle scene. You know, that it's one of those things where I'm not sure if Fox will let the rights go, because it's still, you know, Sony sort of did it a little bit easier, but I'm not sure if they'll...
Well, it must be a huge money maker for them as well.
Yeah, exactly.
But something they looks like they've got right is Deadpool. Obviously, the full Deadpool trailer landed this week, and it's a special treat, isn't it? It's up to, I mean, just this afternoon I checked it out, it's up to 5.5 million views already, which is in itself an achievement. And an R-rated superhero movie, surely that's something that everybody who is a fan of this medium is looking forward to. What are some of the highlights that jumped out at you from the trailer?
Ryan Reynolds being himself. You know, it's just literally Ryan Reynolds in a mask. That's kind of... You know.
And also the criticisms of obviously his previous films, like the fact that he'll outright criticise them. I think that's a bold move, and I like that. I really enjoy
there's
that.
a moment, isn't there, where it's like, just don't make my costume green or
Or
animated.
animated, exactly. I think that's fantastic. I mean, that's totally kind of, you know, breaking the fourth
And also,
wall.
there's a lot. Obviously, it's going to treat the backstory and origin story of Deadpool, I think, with a bit of reverence, which is something they need to do, Fox. And they've got Weasel in there. The character Weasel looks really good. The actor T.J. Morris, I think, isn't it? They're trading insults during a trailer, and it's Anchorman-esque, I think. You know, it's like, your face looks like an avocado that's had sex with an older avocado. You know, something to look forward to there, I think.
But even the trailer has so many Easter eggs in it. I mean, I've been watching YouTube videos of things spotted in there, and there's like Deadpool action figures like lying around in there and stuff like that. And it's just like, this just looks brilliant. It's like everything about it is exactly what you want in a Daredevil movie, a Deadpool movie.
Not the Daredevil movie.
No, Deadpool movie. It just looks brilliant, and that's exactly what we want from our Deadpool.
Yeah, and it's about breaking the fourth wall as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which is also something that's going to do really well, we think.
Yeah.
It works on House of Cards, like, so.
We have just about got enough time to fit in talking about comics as well, in terms of Secret Wars and the Civil War comics, which you recommended to me last time you were on. And I picked up issue 1, it's pretty good. Where are we up to with it, the storyline? Can you explain to us why we should read it, really?
What I liked about it was a lot of the other, as we mentioned before about Secret Wars, they're all, you know, focusing on their own little regions. At least with this, obviously, no spoiler, but there's on the first few pages of the second issue, X-Men are in it, so you're finally getting another one of these comics, or the Secret Wars comics, that actually has, you know, everybody in. It's like bringing everybody back. So, and
it's going to be an epic story.
It's very good. It's like the whole thing with the split region, you know, the sort of their region now being split into the blue and the iron, and it is really, really good. I was quite shocked, and normally, I can't remember the artist's name, but I normally don't like his work. He's done quite a lot of Ultimate stuff, but it's, again, like I think I mentioned last time.
Polished effect,
yeah, it's nice.
It?
It looks really, really good.
And you're obviously a fan of the original Civil War storyline, which is going to filter into the movies again.
Yeah, Civil War got me back into comics in the first place, because I think for American comics anyway, because for the longest time I just didn't like Marvel comics. I thought that they weren't growing up enough. They didn't grow up with me. But then when I picked up Civil War, it's like, this is exactly what I wanted. There's politics in it, and there was issues that I could relate to. So as soon as I picked that up, that's when I knew that kind of like I was back in Marvel.
We are running out of time, so again, that's something well recommended. And we would like you to come back again and join us next week, where we'll talk about more comic and geeky goodness. For extra videos, you can check us out online. Search YouTube, Heroes for Sale, Liverpool.
Who shot ya?